especially when you're an adult, we really get into this, everything has to be perfect before I can do it. And that's really not the truth, right? Like nothing has to be perfect. Nothing ever will be perfect. If you are waiting for perfection, it's like waiting for someday. Someday is never going to come. Hello, and welcome to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie, aka your business bestie. I teach female coaches, speakers, and course creators to release procrastination and perfection so that they can get more done, book more clients, and have the time freedom that all entrepreneurs crave. This is not your typical business coaching podcast. We're talking about business, life, probably some wooey magic, and probably some singing or referencing song lyrics along the way. So if you're into business building, making more money, and getting a little bit of a mindset shift along with having a good laugh, you're definitely in the right place. I've grown 3 businesses from $0 to consistent 4 and 5 figure months over the last 15 plus years. And now I'm helping you do the same thing. It didn't happen overnight, and it certainly didn't happen without the help of others. They say it takes a village to raise children, and I believe it takes a village to grow a business as well. So in this podcast, you'll find people who help you grow your village, cheer you on, as well as holding you accountable. I'm so excited you're here, and I can't wait for you to listen to each episode. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. I'm your host, Maggie. I'm also your business bestie and your Chaos to Clarity coach. So today we're going to talk a little bit about my most recent masterclass. Now, I'm not going to get into what I talked about in the masterclass. I am actually going to tell you some of the process that I did to set up this masterclass, host this masterclass, and then debrief from this masterclass. So this is going to be kind of like a little lunch and learn, maybe if you're eating lunch. But it's going to be a little bit of a learning opportunity for you to see how and what my thoughts were to really create and bring this masterclass to fruition. We're also going to talk about some of the things that the universe so kindly threw my way during this whole thing. So number one, what I want to talk about today is for this masterclass, I utilized ChatGPT to help me brainstorm and bring my ideas from like ideation into fruition. So what do I mean? I found a bunch of prompts that I can use for ChatGPT. Things like, give me 10 places to pull ideal clients. What is something not many filling your avatar knows about, whatever topic you're looking for. So I have this list of 24 different prompts, and I have added and taken out some of the prompts to fit what I'm doing. So that was a huge blessing, I'm going to call it, for this masterclass, right? It really helped me understand some other ways to say what I was trying to say, right? As entrepreneurs, as coaches, a lot of times we get these really great ideas and we give them these really crazy names and we're like, yes, this is amazing. And side note, I've also seen this in the yoga community, right? Where you name this thing, it's awesome, it's great, and you put it out and people are like, I don't understand, I'm not signing up for it, right? So utilizing ChatGPT on the fore end of this masterclass was super helpful. It gave me information that I didn't even really think about, and places to look and things to think about, and also just ways to talk about this masterclass in a way that I might not have thought to before, right? So it gave me a way to try something new on. It also helped me come up with, in my opinion, a better title. So this last masterclass, I was originally going to call it the power of the employee mindset, which to me is like, yes, I can't wait to tell everyone about this. And not that that should affect or drive some of what you're doing, but I also really wanted this to connect with people, right? To connect with my ideal clients. So to connect with other women coaches, course creators, thought leaders, speakers, things like that. So as I was going through some of the prompts for ChatGPT, one of the questions is write 10 possible names for this course. So it spat out 10 different names, and in there, one of the names was Rise and Thrive, Overcome Procrastination, and Scale Your Business. And that really, in a nutshell, is what employee mindset is in the 3 pillars of Chaos to Clarity. So the 3 pillars of Chaos to Clarity are CEO mindset, employee mindset, and goddess mindset. I'm going to go over those 3 in a different episode because I think that really deserves its own episode. And actually, it probably will be in 3 different parts because there's 3 different mindsets. So bringing it back to this masterclass, I really wanted this masterclass to perform better than my first masterclass did. So my first masterclass, I had 5 people sign up and I had 3 people show up, which, by the way, is amazing. And that is like 60% of the people that signed up showed up. That's amazing, right? That is an amazing number. So for this next masterclass, the one that I just gave, my goal was to get 10 signups, right? 10 people to go through my funnel and to get 3 to 5 people to sign up and show up, right? So 10 people signing up and then 3 to 5 people showing up. That was the goal. I did meet both of those goals. So again, I really leaned hard on ChatGPT for a lot of the brainstorming and ideation, which was great. It gave me a lot of things, again, like I said before, that I didn't think of to add to this, right? So it added fuel to what I already had. It also confirmed the things that I already had. So if you've not been using ChatGPT, I think I'm going to make a podcast post or a podcast episode about ChatGPT because it can be such an amazing tool in your business. And it really kind of takes the blank white paper, like that fear of a blank white paper of I don't know what to create. It helps you take that out. Now, is it an end all be all? No, I don't think so. But like I said, it's an amazing tool. So moving on from ChatGPT. In my back end, right, in my CRM, so I use Satva, S-A-T-V-A, for my CRM. And this platform is amazing. It is like everything a coach wants packed into one. It's got the dashboard, it's got workflows, it's got web presence, it's got funnels, it's got basically like a Kajabi or Teachable membership platform. There is so much. There's calendars. You can have conversations. It's got social media posting, right? It's a lot. It's amazing. So I really wanted to make Satva work for me for this second masterclass, right? I wanted to refine my workflow, make sure I had all the emails set up properly, because for my first masterclass, I used, right, one of the workflows in here. And as I saw people coming into the workflow, I noticed that one of the emails that got sent out was an error, and it was basically just a template that got sent out. So for this second masterclass, I knew I wanted to really be attentive to Satva and set that up in the best way possible. So I did that. I got everything, into Satva. I got everyone who came into Satva, right, or came into the funnel. The opt-in was great, assigned a user, set the start time, all this stuff, added tags, put the emails together, right? Just all of this amazing stuff. And I am so happy with how that worked. And now I know that for my next masterclass, I can make this even better. So if there is a whole point to this entire podcast, it is that every time you do something in your business, it's a learning opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to do something, step out of your comfort zone to make yourself a little bit better, right? You're going to learn from it. And, kind of like Rafiki says in The Lion King, learn from it or run from it. And in that case, he's talking about your past, but like in this case, I'm talking about your business, and you really get to use your business as a place for you to experiment, to have fun, to do these experiments and learn from what you're doing and upgrade every time after that, right? Each time it gets a little better. Each time it gets a little more fluid. Each time it's a little bit easier to understand the tasks that you did for the next go around, right? Like when you think of a baby, they don't just stand up and walk and never fall again, right? If that was the case, like we would come out of the womb walking and there would just not ever be it. Like there would never be any fumbling. So sometimes the fumbling in your business can actually be the really fun part of getting to understand your nuances and your business's nuances. So again, I used Sattva. I really honed in on making sure the pipeline, the notifications, the emails were all really branded to me, that I understood what this workflow was doing, right? Because again, I am learning a new system. I am learning on the back end as I'm also learning on the front end. So really utilizing, again, some of that to help me drive this forward. So utilizing Sattva, utilizing ChatGPT. The next point I want to make is that obviously I used Zoom. Well, I guess not obviously. I used Zoom to give this masterclass. So here is one of the hiccups. So for all of you who are like, yeah, but when is she going to screw up? Here's one of the places where I screwed up, right? Okay, so Zoom can stream live to Facebook. I realized a few days before my masterclass that my Zoom was not connected to my Facebook. Okay, fine, let's follow the steps, go through it, and I am not going to lie, still today, the day that I am recording this, Zoom still will not connect to my Facebook. It just pops up to this screen that says connect to Facebook. I click the button and it doesn't go anywhere. So my next steps, right? My learning curve here, my learning capabilities or opportunities right here are for me to go and number one, update my Mac, because I am notoriously bad for making sure that my Mac is like up to date with the most current software or whatever updates, right? Like I'm just not great about doing that. So for me, I know that I need to make that a priority. I need to make sure that my system, not only like Sattva and Zoom and Facebook, right? Like not only are those running optimally, but that my computer is also running optimally, because my computer is one of the things that I have to have in order to run my business. So this brings me to my next point. If you were following my stories on Instagram, and side note, if we're not friends on Instagram, get on that. I'm always in my stories on Instagram. So I would love to connect with you on Instagram and follow along for my journeys. I drop a lot of nuggets in there. I've also opened up a Facebook group and I drop a lot of the same nuggets in there. So if you're not in my Instagram or Facebook group world, make sure you get that. I will drop links below. Anyway, so circling back to another necessity for my business, the internet. The internet is a necessity for my online business. So like I said last week, whole last week, if you were following my Instagram stories, you know that my internet was out, like completely just gone, non-existent, and like zero connectivity. Which again, if your ideal systems for your business are not optimally running, you're going to have issues in your business. And I say this laughing now because I look back and I'm like, oh man, of course, right? Like the universe was totally testing me to see if and how I would react to what was happening, right? I feel like the universe was testing me to see if I could be flexible and bend and flow and ebb and flow in my business. So luckily for me, there is a coffee shop very close to our house, within walking distance. So not a huge deal for me to go over there. However, I did not know that our internet was basically completely useless until I sat at my desk all day Thursday, wondering why I kept having to reset the router downstairs. Now, earlier in the week, the previous Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, our internet had been super spotty and up and down. And I live in a rural. I live in the country, in Wisconsin, and it's not super odd that our internet connection like dips and spikes. So I didn't think too much of it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then Thursday, as I was trying to do things online and just continually having to use my hotspot on my phone, I realized that our internet is totally out, right? So I had to call my husband, and we had to talk to the internet people, right? Had to call the internet gods and say, hello, we have no connectivity. What's going on, right? So it turns out there were problems with the internet company. Some settings got shifted, whatever. Anyway, the whole point is that Thursday is my last working day of the week, typically, right? I do some work on Saturdays, but Fridays I take off, and I typically spend right all day with the kids doing goddess tasks, right? Cooking, cleaning, playing, all that stuff. So I also have a lot of like downloads from like my brain of things that I want to add to my business, you know, like social media posts, future projects, things like that. And I use the internet, right? I use my phone, or sometimes I'll open my computer, jot some notes down in my notes apps in Notion, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I mean, I could. I had a hotspot on my phone, but by, like Sunday evening, I think, I had burned through 4 gigs of data because I had to use my hotspot to be on Zoom calls, which uses a lot of data. So I had to buy more data to get me through, and between Sunday and Monday at 2:00, I had used up another 2 gigs of data, right? And so I say this and I tell you this because I want you to know that, yes, it is absolutely possible for you to do everything off of your phone. However, when you're used to some of those creature comforts, like having the internet, like having that connectivity, it really throws a wrench in your plans, because now suddenly I couldn't just turn on my computer and be connected to where I wanted to be. Okay, I had to go somewhere else. I had to walk to the coffee shop, and I had to understand when the coffee shop's hours were, and right, and then I would have to buy something from the coffee shop, right, like in exchange to be able to use their internet, so on and so forth. And I know that's some people's normal, right? That's very normal for some people. But for me, right, knowing that I wasn't going to have my second screen, knowing that I wasn't going to have like all of my creature comforts of my desk and all of these things, also that I wouldn't have the same quiet space, right, to really be intentional in my work, that I would have to be in this public setting doing my work. That was very jarring for me, right? And I almost did shut down and throw in the towel and say, nope, I'm not going to do it. But luckily, there were 10 people signed up for this masterclass. So seeing those names, and those people kept signing up as the days got closer to the event. So that was so cool for me to get those notifications to see people are interested, people are watching, people are looking, and they want to know what I'm talking about. That really pushed me to stand in my power and say, no, I am going to give this masterclass. Come hell or high water, I am going to do it, right? So that gave me the courage, that extra bump to say, you know what, universe, that's okay. You can throw all this at me. I've got plenty of places that I can go, things that I can do, and ways to be able to give this masterclass and show up for these people who are paying me with their time, right? Like, payment doesn't always come in the form of a dollar bill. And that is something that through this whole last week and a half that I have really learned and started to lean into, is that I am open to accepting payments however they come to me. And, whether that's time, whether that's money, whether that's, I don't know, coffee or baked goods or whatever that is, right? Like whatever that payment is. And I think that's so important to step into that, right? Because I could have retreated. I could have shut down and I could have said, nope, I'm not giving this masterclass. I can't show up. I don't have internet at home, blah, blah, blah. Woe is me. And not done it, right? And that some of the stuff that I talked about in this masterclass was showing up for yourself and self-accountability, stepping into your best and highest self. So, for me to not bow down to this internet outage, I showed up for myself. I showed up for myself and I showed up for everyone who signed up, and I showed up for everyone who was there live. I showed up for everyone who was, watched the replay. I got into my group and I was talking to them about it. So I just want this to encourage you. If you are stuck, if you feel like you are stuck in your business and you're not sure how to take steps to move forward, know that it's okay if the action is messy. It's okay if the action is kind of this unknown, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I feel like I might fumble. I'll probably make some mistakes. Something's bound to go wrong, right? It's okay to do that. It's okay to lean into that. And I think a lot of times, especially when you're an adult, we really get into this, everything has to be perfect before I can do it. And that's really not the truth, right? Nothing has to be perfect. Nothing ever will be perfect. If you are waiting for perfection, it's like waiting for someday. Someday is never going to come. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be complete. There's always going to be something, right? So standing in that power, showing up for yourself to say, yes, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm moving forward. This is the plan, is so important as you make moves in your coaching business. So yeah, after, right? So now that I'm through the workshop, I've spoken with a number of people who have watched the replay, given me some amazing feedback. Now I'm at the point of, okay, what are we going to do next time? Okay. So I definitely, have done some debriefing, right? Especially after the masterclass. I did some debriefing with myself of okay, how do I feel after that masterclass? Was that a good amount of time for me to spend? Was that even taking just the unknown of the internet situation out of it? Did I show up in a way that I felt supportive for the people in that space as they came into that Zoom room? And then writing a list of things that could be better, that could go better next time. So for me, for my next masterclass, I want to get into my current email list a little bit more and do some more nurturing in my email list, because I know there are people in my current list who are interested in this kind of thing, and, really start to lean in and nurture that more. And again, get into some of the more finite places in my business, right? Lean into my Facebook group, nurture them, lean into my email list and nurture them, and really start to get those intimate connections working for me and working for my business, to start telling people what in the world I am doing. Because coaches, if there is one thing that you take away from this, it is this: make sure you tell your people what you're doing. Tell them a lot, tell them often, right? Don't be afraid to hide it. Don't just put it as a link in your Instagram bio and hope that people go to your page, because they probably don't. If you're not talking about it in your stories, they're probably not going to your link. If you're not emailing people about your stuff, they're probably not clicking a link, right? If you don't tell someone that you're doing something, they're probably not going to go do it. So I will drop some of the links for some of the things that I was talking about. If you're a coach, course creator, speaker, I will drop the link for Sattva in the notes, and you can take a look at it. It is such an amazing platform that I really feel so lucky to be able to use and just have at my fingertips. I think, every coach and course creator and speaker out there could really benefit from this piece of software. It eliminates all it's everything all in one, right? So I don't have to have I don't have to have 3 different logins for things, right? I don't have to have a Teachable. I don't have to have an active campaign. I don't have to have a later account or whatever those things are, right? Like a social media scheduler, emailer, course membership site. It really solves a lot of that. And there's so much more other than just those 3 things. But I'm going to drop a link below. You'll be able to check it out. And you'll also, I believe, be able to get a discount on your service if you sign up. So I'm going to drop that link below. So if you have any questions about a masterclass, starting a masterclass, doing a launch of any kind, I would love to help you do this. So here is where offer audits, also even just one-on-one discovery calls, just to understand where you're at and what you want to do. I can really give you kind of a play-by-play of yes, I think I can help you, or no, I'm not sure. Here's a resource, right? So I would love to talk to you. I hope you have an amazing day. If, like I said before, if you're not in my Facebook group, I'm going to drop that link below. Go ahead and join. It's a wonderful community. It is growing and it is just flourishing. There are lots of coaches in there. There are lots of people who support coaches in there. So my hope for that space is to make it a collaborative place. Make it a place where it's kind of a little bit of networking meets coaching meets, a fun party, because it's all my favorite people in there right now. So come on in, join us. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to connect with you. Also connect with me on Instagram. I love to hang out in my stories there, and I will talk to you again so soon. Have such an amazing day.